This conference will now be recorded.
PR syslock. Lock is acquired. What happens to the table? The record will be inserted in the lock table. Lock released means record will get deleted from the table. So is it possible that we can manually release the lock by writing an activity? So I have a work object which has been locked on some operator ID. Okay, that operator is not available. I want to forcefully release the lock. Can I write an activity for that? We can write an activity. What is the method to be used? Obj open, obj open, obj, which method to be used? Obj delete or delete by handle, and delete that particular record from the table. That means lock is been released. Okay, so this is the locking concept. Next topic that we are going to discuss about is PZ-INS key. What is the next topic? PZ-INS key and property names and their prefixes. Okay, you know about property names and prefixes. PZ-INS key. Once these two are PZ-INS key. Once these two are done, then we will work on next method in the activity obj open by handle. Understand? Obj. That is what we will be working. Okay, with obj open by handle. So property names and prefixes. So at the very beginning of the sessions, I have explained about some properties. I have told you about some OODB properties. PX create date time, PX update date time, PX create operator, PX update operator. So what are these properties all about? What is PX create date time property? When
a case is getting created. Yeah.
PX update date time means when it was being last modified. PX create operator.
Who created
that work object?
This one created this. PX update operator means
last modified
last
operator.
modified operator. Whoever has modified this, let us their operator. Right. See here, if you open any rule, okay, what is our application? SBI, right? Let me go to SBI application. Password rules. User interface section. Take anything. So this section was being created. Who created it? How do you know? Who created it? Go to history, and here you can see. Okay. So last added. So when it was being created, this is the time. Who created it? This is the operator ID. This is the operator name. PX create operator. Last modified. Who modified last? PX update operator. When it was PX create date type, PX update date type. So these are all the things which we have discussed. Okay. See, if you go to the clipboard, you see many of the OODB properties in Pega starting with one of these three prefixes: PX, PY, PZ. PX properties, you know, PX create date time, PX update date time, all this. PY properties, tell me one PY property. PY
page.
PY ID, note.
PY ID. So PY ID is the property which is starting with PY. PZ you are not aware of. PZ INS key is there. PZ PV stream column, you know. PZ INS key property is there, but there is a property. See why Pega comes up with this naming convention, giving some property names prefixes PX and some property name prefixes PY and some are PZ. The reason is PX properties means these properties we cannot input the values, cannot import. Sorry, PX means cannot import by using HTML form. HTML form means
UI
section. Okay.
Sections.
So you cannot input the data to the PX properties through HTML forms. That is not possible. Okay, that's how PRPC is being designed. PY properties are the general properties that we are using regularly. Okay, like any property that you created is similar to PY. Means you can do anything. You can use anywhere. And there are some special properties. PZ means it is only for system internal processing purpose. Internal processing purpose. You cannot even input the value or you cannot modify the value. That is not possible. Okay. So PZ properties are some restricted properties. You may use it, but you cannot modify or you cannot input the value to the PZ properties. You may access it and use it, the value and all, you can read it, everything you can do, but you cannot modify or and all. These are highly important properties. Making changes to this property that is going to disturb PRPC environment itself. So the environment or the functionality, entire functionalities will get disturbed if you make any changes to PZ properties. That's how it is system internal property. Understand everyone clear? So this is how PX, PY, PZ properties. PX properties are the special properties where you cannot input the values to the HTML forms. And PY properties are the general properties. You can do anything of your wish. PZ properties are some special properties for system internal processing purpose. Any change for PZ property, everything will be gone related to that particular rule. Okay. So we are going to focus on PZ properties now. Okay. I will explain about one of the PZ property, PZ-INS key. But before that, look at here. So there are so many tables in PRPC. So we have our work tables also, right? So let's look at the table primary key. What is the primary key of the table? I am going to cities table and properties, and here you have constraints, and here you go primary key, foreign key, like this, unique key, exclusion. Okay, primary key. What is the column name for primary key? This is key. What is the primary key column that they have chosen? City code. And but this is the data type that we created. Except data types, keep aside data types. Go to any PRPC table, view data, first 100 rows. I'm sorry, properties, right? Just properties and constraints, primary key. What is the name of the column? PZ-INS. And go to another table, some other table, properties and constraints, primary key column. What is the primary key column? PZ-INS. Go to work table. What is the name of our work table? PC underscore SBI, right? PC underscore means it should be on top. This is our work table. Properties. For our work table, what is the primary key value column? What is the primary key column? Except the data types you have created. Leave about data types. For every table in the backend of Pega OODB tables and your work object tables, even lock tables, every table in Pega, the primary key column is what? PZ-INS. PZ-INS key is the primary key column for all the tables in PRPC's rule base. Let's look at the values of this primary keys. I'm going to view data first 100 rows, and here you go, PZ-INS key, right? Let me copy the value. This is the value. So this is the value. You tell me two definitions. I'm going to ask you two definitions. Work object. What is the definition of work object? Technical definition.
Instance of
What is the definition? Work
class
object
group.
is
It is instance of class group.
Instances of class.
Instance of class group.
Class group.
What is the definition of class group then?
Instance class of
Instance
work
class
object.
of work object.
Objects.
So use that word instance class. Okay. Instance class is going to have some instances. The instances will get stored into backend tables. Correct? Everyone clear? So a class is going to have instances. Where does the instances get stored? In the backend tables. For that, the primary key of every instance is PZ-INS. Primary key means that is the value using which PRPC uniquely identifies that particular rule, or maybe instance, you can say. Okay, understand? Now you see here, let's go to the initial documents. Not this. See, in this document, so while I was sharing this document, I have requested everyone, you don't need to read this point as of now, but you can read it later. Okay. So property is an instance of class rule obj property. So you know about work object, right? Work object is instance of class group. So the work object created will get stored into backend table, which is mapped to the class group. Similarly, you go to rule obj property class, rule dash obj dash property. Sorry, rule obj property. So any property that you create in Pega, anywhere, wherever you create, anywhere, if you create a property, the property will be instance of the class rule obj property. Right click on this and go to definition and click on test connectivity, and here you go. This is mapped to a table called pr4 underscore rule underscore property. See, you go to this table pr4 rule underscore property. Where is it? It is in, you are in data schema, right? Tables. You need to go to rules schema. Rules will get stored into rules schema, and here tables pr4 underscore rule underscore property. Anyway, you see that this is the table view data, first 100 rows. So I have 100 rows here. Understand? See, what are these rows here? These are all properties. These are all properties. Every property that you create, property means this is the property. I'll show you. This is property. All these details about property, this property will get stored into backend table. What is the table name? pr4 underscore rule underscore property. So property is an instance of class rule obj property, means property as an instance like a work object. Work object is one instance, property is also one instance. Work object stores into work table, property stores into properties table. What is the properties table? The table connected to rule obj property class, which is pr4 underscore rule underscore property. So section is an instance of class rule HTML section. Section is instance of which class? Rule HTML section. Every section that you create in Pega, in PRPC environment, anywhere you create a section, suppose you create 100 sections. 100 sections will store into a table pr4 underscore rule underscore section or something like that. Section is instance of which class? Rule HTML section. 100 records will be there in the section table. Similarly, if you are creating flow action is an instance of class rule obj flow action. Flow action will store into some table. So like this, every rule that you create in Pega is instance of some class. Every rule that we create in Pega is instance of a class. That's why Pega is all about its database. There's nothing other than database. Everything that you do create in Pega is getting stored into respective tables. Property is going to store into table, section is going to store into table, flow action, flow, case types, when rules, report definitions, everything that we create is an instance of some class and gets stored into some table. And now how each rule will be uniquely identified. It gets stored into table in the backend, right? It should be uniquely identified by the process commander, correct? So how a process command is going to uniquely identify the table, each rule in the table? So that is by using primary key column value. So primary key, what is the primary key column?
Pidgins.
What is the primary key column?
PZINS key.
PYID.
PZINS key. PZINS key is the column which is primary key column. Primary key column for every rule related table. Every table you go and see, primary key column is same, PZINS. Now the value of the PZINS key will get generated at runtime. The value of the PZINS key will get generated at runtime. At what moment it will get generated? Let me tell you. So now this is created. Sorry, this you are trying to create it. Trying to create it. By this time PZINS key not generated because it is not yet been created. You click, the moment you click on save here, it will get created, correct? The moment you click on save, PZINS key gets generated. So the generated value will be the unique value it will generate. Okay, I will explain you the concept of how a PZINS key gets generated in case of work objects and in case of rules. This is the point we are going to discuss now. So far, everyone clear? You understand what is PZINS key? What is PZINS key? PJ- key is the primary key for
Every column
PJ- for what?
of every work
For
object.
every rule, of
For
every
every
rule
rule
that
Pega,
is
for
created.
every rule, for every table in Pega, primary key column is PJ- including work object table. So there are two keys in Pega. One is class key, another one is primary key. Where do you find the class key? Where do you find it?
Class definition.
You open the class definition and here you find keys. There can be more than one class key. There can be more than one class key. Okay. You go to our work table. What is the class key?
PYID.
What is the class key? PY. So what is the class key for countries table? Country
Code.
table, city table, city code like that. So in case of work object, PYID is the class key. Okay, and primary key value will be generated at runtime, framed at runtime. This value will get generated, PYID also. After this is finished, primary key column value will get generated. What is the value primary key column value? You can see here like this: 19,006, 19,007, 19,008, 19,009. So for each work object that is getting created, the PJ- key value will get generated. In case of work objects, it is very simple framing. So PJ- key is being framed, okay, with two parameters. You can easily say what are those parameters. Which class? What is that class you call it? It's not about sphere. What do you call it?
Organization.
Class? Instance class, space. What is the one?
PYID.
Class.
ID.
PYID అలా చెప్పకూడదు. Okay, that is okay, but this is a more generic terminology. Okay, so PJ- key for work objects is the combination of instance class plus instance class space class key. See, class key place you will be getting the value of the work object ID. Every work object that you create will have a unique number, right? Even though this is matching, when this value is changing, each one will be different. So PJ- key value will be uniquely framed in case of work objects with the combination of only two parameters. What are those? Instance class space class key. Understand everyone? Clear? Now let's come to the rules. Okay, let's come to the rules. PJ- key for rules. So property is an instance of which class?
Rule of
Property.
property.
Rule obj
Rule
property. Rule obj property. So that is instance class space class key. I'll tell you one thing here. For every rule, the class key is rule name. Class key value is rule name. You can remember it as a thumb rule. In case of every rule, class key is rule name. Imagine a property by name, otherwise a section by name, customer details SCC. What is the name? Customer details SCC. Instance class space class key. Correct? Instance class for section is what? I'm sorry. Rule HTML section. Rule HTML section space customer details SCC, that is class key. Class key is the name of the section. That is the name of it. With these two combination, PJ- key has been framed. Is it going to be unique or not? We need to find out. If process command is going to generate the PJ- key value considering two parameters of instance class plus class key, in case of rules, is it going to be unique or not? We are trying to identify now. Okay, look at here. There is a class called SBI and there is a class called SBI auto I work. There are the two classes that are there. In this class, I have created a section by name customer details SCC, and similarly I created a section in this class as well. Both are different sections. This section has some controls and this section has some controls, but names of the sections are same. Is it possible to create or not? First thing, general knowledge. Is it possible to create a section with same name in two different classes. Possible or not?
Yes, we can create.
Same class is possible. Same class it is not possible, but in two different classes you may create. Now, if this is the PGINS key value that is getting generated, this PGINS key is for the section which is there in work class or which is there in ordination class. Which class section? Imagine when you create a section in SBI class, this is being generated following the PGINS key format. What is the format? Class key plus, sorry, instance class plus space class key. What about this section PGINS key? This section PGINS key also will be same or not? For this section also PGINS key will be same. Is that going to be unique or not? Is that going to be unique now?
No.
No,
For
it's
each
not
rule,
unique.
are you getting a PGINS key unique value? Yes or no?
No.
You are not getting it. You are not getting unique PGINS key.
For that class.
Yeah, you are not getting unique PGINS key value. Okay. So when you frame a PGI, when process commander frames PGINS key value, having two parameters of instance class and class key, that is being unique in case of work objects, that work fine, no issues. But in case of rules, this two combination is not sufficient because we are getting duplicate. So how do you handle it? Now let's add additional parameter. In case of rules, let's add one more parameter, that is instance class space rule class. What do you mean by rule class? The class in which the rule is created. That is also additionally I will add. Can you tell me for the first one, for this particular section, what will come here?
SBI,
And for the second section,
SBI auto IR.
now you tell me, is this going to be unique for both of these? Yes or no? Now
Yes.
the PGINS value generated for first section in organization class and the second section in work class, is it going to be unique or not?
Yes.
It is going to be unique. Okay, next, look at here. I am going to modify this section behavior by save as into the same class into version 2. It is in version 1. It is in version 1. Is it possible or not? It is
Yes.
possible. Now tell me, this PGINS key is for this rule or this rule? Version 1 rule or version 2? It is not unique now. So version 2, if it generates, it will generate the same or not? For version 2 also, it has to generate the same as per the three parameters. Three different parameters used in PGINS. So three parameters also not sufficient to make it unique. To make it unique, even three parameters are also not sufficient. Then let's add one more additional parameter, px create date time. What is the next parameter? Having px create date time, is that going to be unique or not? Each rule will get unique PGINS key. So you need to remember this. PGINS key in case of work object is going to have only two parameters. What are those? Instance class, class key. It is very much sufficient. Okay, there is no versioning, all that, right? Okay, anyhow, if you create a work object for a different class, instance class will change. That will make it unique. And in the same class, you create 10 work objects. Each work object will have unique ID, PYID. That will make it different, unique. So like this, in case of work objects, PGINS key is only two parameters. What are those? Instance class. But for every other rule in Pega, rule instances, PGINS key is instance class, class key, instance class, rule class, class key, and px create data. This is PGINS. How process commander is going to use this PGINS key for finding out each rule uniquely from or for retrieving each rule uniquely from PRPC rule base. Process command always use PGINS. Process command always going to use PGINS key. PGINS key is the rule. Sorry, PGINS key is the value using which we can fetch single record from the table. But in order to fetch single record from the table using PGINS key, there is a method that can be used. What is the method name? OBJ open by handle. OBJ open by handle. Understand everyone clear? So obj open by handle method is used to fetch how many records? Single record using PZINS key, which is primary key. Obj open method also used to fetch single record by using class key. There is no difference between obj open and obj open by handle other than the key value you are passing is going to be class key or PZINS key. That's it. If you are being given with class key and asked and you are asked to fetch single record, which method you will be using? Obj open. If you have a PZINS key and you want to retrieve single record, which method you use? Obj open by handle. That's it. Okay. So based on the availability of key, which key is available? Based on the key, you will use the respective method. Class key is there, use obj open. PZINS key is there, use obj open by handle. Understand everyone clear so far? All of you online. So we are going to work on using obj open by handle method to update the records. Same you can also implement by using open also. Okay. Everyone clear so far? Everyone online? Respond on the charting window.
I have one question related to data type classes. So what is the reason we don't have PZINS key?
See, data type classes are not getting PZINS key automatically created by process command. Okay. Why? They believe that the tables are created by you. You know the class keys always. You never use PZINS key for that tables, right? So they are not bothering about creating a separate PZINS key column. Because all the time you are choosing the key by yourself when you create a data type, right? Always you'll use the same key value and you are going to retrieve it. So there is no meaning of having a PZINS key column for those tables. That's why Pega is not maintaining.
Okay.
Next.
Okay.
Class key. It is very simple. What is class key? Class key is the key column which you are choosing. That is not primary key. That is class key. Class key is PYID. Class key is country code. Class key is state code, city code, customer ID. All those are class keys. Understand? So far, everything that we have created while creating a table, we have chosen key. That is class key. Okay, that will be there in the class rule form under the keys section. Class key plays a key role in framing the PZINS key value. Class key is one of the parameters in PZINS key value. Okay, clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay, next, let's talk about this obj open my handle method. Okay, let me show you obj open my handle method. OBJ open my handle method takes instance handle. Instance handle is PZINS. Instance handle or PZINS, you can say anything. And similar to OBJ open, you have lock, release, and commit, everything. Everything is there. Oh. Now, I will tell you one business requirement and I'll tell you how to implement it. Okay, before the business requirement, I'll tell you one real life example. Imagine, let's say, let me just Google it. Okay, and you have a box like this. Okay, so see the last one. I think it will take me to Amazon. Okay, so you have a box. Okay, and where you have a lock, there's a lock and key for that. Okay, so just imagine in the reality like this. Okay, you are sitting at some chair. Like this, there are hundreds of boxes. Okay, otherwise, let's say 10 boxes are there like this. All are locked. You are holding all the 10 keys and sitting in a chair, and the boxes are there somewhat. It's a far away distance from you. Okay, maybe a 50 feet away from you. These boxes are there. All 10 boxes are there. So now you are being given with a task that inside the boxes there are something inside the box. Okay, there is some content inside the box. So you are being asked to get all these boxes and modify the content inside what is present. Otherwise, you are being given with anything you can say. You are being given with 10 diamonds. So each diamond you have to take and place inside one box. Already diamonds are there. Additionally, you are adding something. Okay. So there is content inside box. All boxes are there just 50 feet away from you, and you're sitting in a chair. You are holding all the 10 keys. Let's say, for example. Okay. And then you have to open each box, open the boxes, and add some content inside that. So for this, what would you be doing? What is the first thing you do? Tell me the steps of actions that you're going to do. What is the first step?
Open the box using key.
Get all the boxes to your place. You go and take all the boxes. Okay, boxes are there somewhere. Take all the boxes to your place. Now you have all 10 boxes with you, right? And you have how many keys? Okay, get the keys. Okay, you have taken the keys. Get the keys. So next, what would you be doing?
Open
Third one.
using key. Open one by
Take
one.
one key.
Get
Take
one by one key and test it.
Yeah, one by one, try with all of
And
the
then
keys.
do what?
Try.
I'll do like this.
Open.
Take first key. Then do
Try to
what?
open. Try to open.
Open first box. Next, modify content. Then do what?
Close. Close.
Close it. Okay, close it. Generally, so how many times you have to repeat it and do all these steps? 10 times. Is it possible to open all 10 at a time?
No.
You cannot open unless you are a Rajnikant in Robo. Okay, so you cannot open all 10 at a time. You have to open one by one and then do it. Exactly what we have discussed now. This is the same thing we are going to do in the programming also. I mean, programming in a sense, in the development also. Everyone clear with this? So now each box is equal to one database record. Okay, so you need to get all the PG9 keys of these records, open each record by record, modify it, and save it back. Understand? So now you tell me the equivalent step to the first one. Given you have a table, in the table you have 10 records, you have to get all the 10 records, get the keys for 10 records, and open each record by record and modify it. Generally, you tell me what is the first step equivalent here? OBJ
OBJ
browse. You got everything now. So
Properties
here
set.
you get the keys. Read the keys from each row. You have the keys. How many keys you have? 10 records mean 10 keys you have. So do what next? 3. Do what? Loop. Loop through. So what you will be getting? OBJ browse result will be
Page list.
page list. Loop through
Page.
page list. Next 3.1. What are you doing?
Get
3.1.
the
Take first key.
OBJ.
Okay.
OBJ
Read.
open by hand.
OBJ open by handle with the first key.
Yes, I'm going to take the first key and then 3.2. Open the first box, means open one record, first record. Which method? OBJ open by
hand.
handle. The reason is I am taking the first key, that is PGINS key. Suppose if you take I mean like class key, then in place of this method you'll use OBJ open method. That's the only difference. Okay, OBJ open by handle. You will get the data onto which page? Temp
Temp
page. 3.3. Next to do what? Modify it. For modifying, what is the method?
Properties.
Property set. You modify it. Next, I have to save it back. What is the method?
OBJ.
Save.
It will be updated. And completed. It is finished. Now the question. See, if this is a standalone activity, it is not part of the flow. It is a standalone activity. Then,
Commit.
do I have to perform the commit? Yes or no?
Yes.
So what do you need to do?
Yes.
Yes.
OBJ commit.
Finally, I am doing a commit. Not at the
Commit.
beginning. Not inside the loop.
We
Not
can
each
use
one by
right
one.
now.
After it saved to defer queue, I'm going to perform a commit, entire defer queue I'm going to perform.
We can use right now also, right?
Yes, yes. See here, this one, everyone clear? These are the steps we are going to write in our activity. So if you are being given, this is generic thing. If you are being given with a requirement where you have to fetch records from some table, already data is there, and modify the data. N number of records, 1 or 10 or 1000 or 10,000. These are the steps basically. Understand, everyone clear? And someone was asking a question, why we don't have BGDynasty for data types? The reason is, data types you will be creating, right? At the time of creating, you are going to choose class keys. Class key is very much clear to you. You know what is the class key column and everything, right? So there is again further no need of BGDynasty because you are creating it. You know class keys, you will always use the class key value. That's why Pega is not giving any BGDynasty column for data types. And coming back to this one, this is a generic logic, whatever I told you. If you are being given with a business requirement to retrieve some records from any table in Pega and modify that, then you should be following these steps. First you browse everything, then loop through, get the key, and open each one by using either obj open or obj open by handle, modify it by properties set, and save it back by obj save. It will generate update query because already it is present. And finally you have to do perform a commit. Imagine exception handling I have to do, right? Imagine during the commit there is a failure. But one more thing I have to tell you here. Okay, in case of this one, I am opening the record here. Someone else may also execute the same activity, correct? Someone else may execute the same activity, same table. They will also update. How do I make sure that others are not updating, are not modifying while I was modifying? I'll be have to additionally acquire log and release on commit. These are the things I have to do. I have to make sure that no one else is touching the table while I was modifying it. Understand, clear? So I have to acquire lock for that. In the obj open or obj open by handle, you have lock option and release on commit options available. I'll be choosing accordingly. And now commit method you are going to use. Imagine there is a failure in the commit method. At the time commit executed, some reason it has failed. What will happen now? These records what are available in the defer queue won't go to physical table. Commit failed, exception happened. Now, even though commit fails, still locks will be there or not? On successful commit only lock will be released. Commit failed, but lock is still there. That is wrong. If commit fails, additionally, what do you need to do? If commit
Release.
fails, do what? Release locks. Release locks. Releasing locks, is it only sufficient thing? Data will still be there in defer queue. Erase the data from defer queue. To erase data from defer queue, what should I do? These are the additional steps of exception handling that you have to do. Understand? So you need to also consider the situations where there can be a failure. So if commit fails, I should release all the locks. I should have to roll back. Roll back, you know, rollback method. For releasing locks, you need to call one OOTP activity, work on lock. What is the OOTP activity? Work on lock. Everyone clear? So whenever you are writing a commit step, you should always think about exception handling mechanism. If commit fails, you have to execute additional steps of rollback and release locks. Understand? Unlock. For this, Pega already provides one OOTP activity. Commit with error handling. Commit with what? Error handling. Commit with error handling means whenever you call this OOTP activity, anytime if you want to write commit, instead of writing commit, you call this OOTP activity. This activity is going to perform a commit, and if commit fails, it will roll back and it will release the locks. So you don't need to write 3 steps. Instead of 3 steps, you call OOTP activity, it is done. PRPC will take care of everything. Commit plus rollback and release locks. Understand? What is commit with error handling OOTP activity used for? Commit plus, in case of commit fails, it will roll back and release the locks if required. Okay. You have to write 3 steps: commit, unlock, rollback. Instead of 3, you write only 1 step of calling OOTP activity. Commit with error. Understand, everyone clear? And this is the business requirement that we are going to implement, where we are going to work with what? OBJ open my handle method. But it is not only OBJ open my handle method. In this activity, how many different methods that you are using? What are the different methods you are using in this activity? I mean, like related to tables. Related to tables, what are the methods? OBJ, browse, OBJ, open by handle or open,
by hand.
and OBJ save. And also commit, rollback, work unlock, locking related. All the concepts that we have worked on so far, everything coming into single activity with the next business requirement. Understand? OBJ browse is, it's a general thing that we know. Instead of OBJ browse step in the activity, I can implement different way. That is, I can call report definition. I can call, in place of OBJ browse, can I create a report definition rule? I can create a report definition rule and call the report definition rule in the activity. That is possible. I'll show you how to call it. See, if you are going to create one, imagine there is an activity you are creating with only one step of OBJ browse. Instead of that, you can create report definition rule and call it from the activity in place of OBJ browse. Both will result into same result generally. But what are the advantages of creating a report and calling? Instead of writing only activity OBJ browse, if you create report and call it, what are the advantages? So instead of using OBJ browse directly, if you are going to create a report and call it from the activity, what are the advantages of that particular step?
We can have columns in report definition.
we can choose only selected columns.
Maximum record, what needs to be kept.
Like maximum records are like 10,000, 10,000. Anywhere it is 10,000. It's not about maximum, but it's not about 10 select records. You can choose selected columns in OBJ browse also. Specific columns can be written. What is the advantage?
I mean, we can call that report definition in multiple places.
You can use that report definition for different purposes. You can use the report definition directly in the UI, like a chart. You can use it. You can use it for exporting. You can use it for exporting into PDF, Excel. You can perform joins in report and call the report in activity, but you cannot perform joins using OBJ browser now. Okay? That's why you try to create a report always and access the report into activity as a best practice. So this is the business requirement, but before we work on this business requirement, we are going to discuss about another concept. Okay, so all the concepts that we learn, okay, all that will be just looked into in one business requirement. Okay, so the next topic that we are going to discuss about after, I mean, like before practical of this one, whatever I told just now, which open my handle and talk. Next topic is work object status. What is the next topic? Because we apply this business requirement on work object. Otherwise, you can apply it on any column. That is okay. It's up to you. But we learn and we apply on the same. Like, see here, when you make a transaction in Amazon, suppose you have purchased a product in Amazon. After purchasing the product, there will be a case gets created. Which case will get created? What is the work object that gets created by after you purchase a product in Amazon? One work object will be created. After product purchase, work object is completed. Another work object will be created automatically. What was that?
Order.
Variety specific.
Order. Order case ante meer chese. Order case is the one which you are trying to make from beginning to ending to purchase the product. So as a result of order case is successfully finished, one more case will get created. What was that?
Email to
Delivery
Mail notifications.
Delivery. Order delivery case is going to get created. So delivery case, you can clearly see different information details about the delivery of the product. So just a high level, tell me what are the different steps that are involved. You might have accessed Amazon application many times to order something, right? So what are the different options you see in the delivery case? Different stages. What are the stages?
Tracking the product.
order placed,
First one,
Tracking the product.
packaged, shipped, and delivered on out of
you can go ahead here. First one can be preparing,
herring,
right? And then dispatched, and then arrived at facility in some city, and delivered. Maybe successful or not, it depends actually. Delivered or returned back depends on high level.
Could be
Okay,
out for delivery as well.
out for delivery will be there after this. Out for delivery. See, what is this information? How it is going to help you? This information, how is it going to help you? You will clearly understand what is happening and what has happened, what is yet to happen, right? So at present, what is happening and what has already happened and what is yet to happen, it's a clear-cut tracking information. So this is a kind of, you call it as transaction status. What is this? Transaction status. Suppose you have applied for a loan. At the very beginning, when you have applied for loan, pending documents. Pending, what does it mean? You have opened your loan case. Okay, you have applied for loan, opened the loan case. It says your loan case is at pending documents. What does it mean? There are some documents that you need to still upload. Once you finish uploading the documents, it will move to the next level. Review pending. What does it mean? So the documents that you have submitted, it is still pending its review. Once the review is finished, it will go to the next level. So after review pending, let's say reviewed, done. Okay. And then pending approval. What is it? Pending. What does it mean? It is pending for the approval. Manager has approved. Pending customer acceptance means customer care people will call you and they say that 1% we are going to charge. Are you okay to proceed forward? The case will wait here. Customer care people will open the case and see what is happening, and they have your phone number and all in the case. They will call you. You say okay, proceed forward, 1% is okay, then they will submit. After this pending amount disbursed. Okay, and finally loan sanction. You say loan sanction. Okay, money has been deposited into your account, case got closed successfully. So these are the different status. What is the importance of having status? How it will be helpful? Status will be helpful for you to understand, and even this is also helpful for the business to understand what is happening, and this plays a key role in the reporting part, where it will play a key role in the reporting. Suppose business wants to get the details about all the transactions that have been returned because the customer not available. So how do they get the report? Based on the status. Status is resolved written. So the product status is resolved written means it has been completed, but it has been written. You can reinitiate if you want to initiate. That's a different thing. Okay, everyone clear? So like this, the status is going to play a key role, not only just giving the idea and information about the tracking, but also it is going to give you a clear idea about it is also going to be helpful in getting the reports. Okay, generating the reports and all. So if you want to deal with status in PRPC, there is a rule called field value. What is the rule type? Field value rule. You will be using a rule called field value. I will show you the field value rule. Just hold on. Here you go. At each and every step in the case processing, you have a facility to assign some status. You can see here when I select this tab, what is that? Set case status means if you go to assignment shape, double click on the assignment shape and go to assignment shape properties. I'll show you the same. What you see here will also be available on assignment shape. Double click on assignment shape and scroll down assignment details, and you see here work status. Okay, the same, because it is the case designer. You can see here the same. You can see status here. If you click the down arrow, there are already over TB statuses available, like completed, open, pending, pending approval, pending from outside external, pending fulfillment, pending investigation. Maybe smart dispute framework, if you're using, you'll come across investigation cases. Suppose you have reported that there is some fraudulent transaction that has been done on my credit card. Then while it is in progress, the status will be pending investigation. So like this, resolved completed, resolved duplicate, resolved rejected. Like this, there are different status that already Pega provided. So if you open any one of these, you can see the status value. It has been created by a rule called field value. Field value is the rule One of the purposes of field value is to create work object status and use it for the purpose of assigning status. Understand? Other than this, field value can be used in translations of language. Means localization of application. Means application is displayed in English language, but you know only Spanish. So on the top of the screen you choose Spanish, then all the product names from English to Spanish will get translated. So that is called localization concept. So in the localization concept also you'll use field values from translating a value English word to Spanish or Spanish to English or anything to anything. Okay, depends. Okay, so now field values can be used to define work object status, and it can be called on any flow shape in gRPC, not only assignment. Any flow shape, you go to the self properties of the flow shape, you have an option of choosing status. There you will be choosing a field value. Usually the name of the field value and the value of the field value in case of work object status will be same. Why? Because if you want to assign some status, exactly the status name when you see, then you can choose it. So that's why name of the field value and value of the field value in case of work object status we always use same. Okay, and work object status when you assign, look at here. I have set pending investigation, right? Save this. Create vehicle insurance. Okay, now what is the status you can see here? Pending investigation. So work object status will get assigned to an OOTP property, and which will be there on PY work page. Which will be there on PY work page. Hold on. Clipboard, PY work page. Where is it? PY work page. Sorry. Why I'm not getting PY work page?
There only.
This is the one. Okay, here you go. PY status work. Focus only on this property. Other property we don't need at all. PY status work. So there is an OOTP property PY status work which holds the value of the status which is there in the field value. Okay, at the time of creating field value also you will be choosing which property to hold, which property on clipboard to hold the value of this particular field value rule. You'll be choosing here itself at the time of creating rule. For work object status, it is a thumb rule that you can remember always. What is the property? PY status work. PY status work is the property which we use while creating field values for work object status. That property on clipboard is going to hold the value of the work object, value of the work object status, and also the column in the backend table. What is that? Column in the backend table. Where is it? PC_SBI, right? See, in the backend work table, if you go to work table, in the backend also the column is same. What will be the column? PY status work. Somewhere you should be seeing. This is the column. PY, this column only you have to focus. PY status. Property names and column names are always same, that we already discussed. Okay, so this is about work object status. So work object status can be set or created by creating a rule called field value. See, if the status value that you are looking for is already OOTP available, then you don't need to create field value. If it is OOTP not available, then you create your own field value. Understand? And field value rule can be used for status, and you can call it on any flow shape. Start shape, end shape, assignment shape, utility shape, decision shape, anywhere you can call PY field value rule for the status. And step by step, when you are going through the work object, at each step it is going to display the work object status in the work object form, and it will be there on clipboard assigned a property PY status work, and the backend table column also same name, PY status work. Make sense? Everyone clear? Okay, I will share you the documents now. We can wind up for today. Any doubts, any questions you can ask. You have any questions?
Asha, how will it look like PZINS key? Is there a chance to show the PZINS key? That it should be unique.
Fine. How?
How the PZINS key look like something? So what is?
Your voice is not audible. It's not loud enough to hear.
Is asking how PZINS looks like.
Come closer to the mic. Raise your voice. Be louder.
Asha is asking how PZINS key looks like.
So that is unique, right? So how, where can we
Yes,
get
yes.
the PZINS key?
Yes, yes. PZINS key looks like the combination of parameters. What are those? Instance class, rule class for rules. Instance class, rule class, class key, and create date type. Okay. First three you can imagine. Fourth one also you can easily imagine. But still, for any role, if you wanted to know what is its PZINS, open the role, go to actions, view XML, Control F, PZINS key. PZINS key. Understand? This is the value of PZINS key of this particular role. Understand?
Oh.
So for every role, when you go to view XML, you can find the PZINS key value. This is for roles. There is something else called data instances. I'll explain you later. Okay.
Thank you, Asha.
Okay. Let me send the email about PZINS key. What else? Status, right? Work object, status, field value rule will be there. Practical document. Do we have any practical? Practical. Oh, today PZINS key explanation itself is property name prefixes, right? Where is it? Property names and the prefixes, and PZINS key document, work object status, field value. So once we finish creating field value and using it for the status, once that is done, we will work on the standalone activity which I have explained you. Okay.
OBJ open by
PDF
handle
Accept.
document also.
OBJ open my handle also discussed.
Object locking, exception
There is
handling.
nothing much to tell you about OBJ open my handle. OBJ open my handle method is used to fetch single record based on PZINS. You have to know all about PZINS.
Exception handling.
Exception handling, there is no document, but I shared you, right? Status. I mean, it's not by the name exception handling exactly. What is that? I shared already the document related to PY status work. Sorry, I'm sorry.
And PXPY PZ related any document.
I have added it. Just let me tell you about this. What is the concept? PX method status, step status failed document is there, right? That itself is exception handling mechanism. Based on step fail, only activity part. Okay. In the activity, any exception occurs, status will fail. Okay. Fail based on failure, you need to jump. And accordingly you have to do it. Log files, I forgot, I'll tell you. Okay. Logging, I'll tell you, no problem. So I'm going to send it. So that's it for now. We'll continue tomorrow to work on two requirements. One is field values for first 15 minutes. Next to 45 minutes, writing that activity to bulk update the records of any table.
Harsha, one doubt, Harsha.
Yes, please.
In the activity which you have shown, the step 3 where we do OBJ open by handle, we are selecting both the acquire lock and release on commit. So when will the release on commit come into picture?
Release on commit is required. Suppose you have acquired lock for the instances. Okay. Commit has failed. Only on successful commit lock will be released. Your commit has failed. Locks will still be there for infinite time. It will be there for infinite time. whenever you are going through normal regular locking process is 30 minutes, right? But if you acquire a lock by using OBJ open or OBJ open by handle, it is called as soft lock. It is called as, if you want to learn more in depth, soft lock will be forever. Till you release, it will be there. So you have acquired lock by OBJ open or OBJ open by handle, that is a soft lock. Soft lock will be there as long as it will be there until you release it. Okay. Successful commit, it will be released as per the option you have chosen. Commit has failed, then you need to call release locks. Okay, that is roll back and then work on lock. Work on lock is going to release the locks. Releasing lock means simple. It will delete the instances from the table PRSys locks. Simple.
Okay, Harsha.
Language.
So it is done at the commit level, commit step, release log.
Come again? Yeah. Commit is successful. Okay. Commit failed, you need to go for rollback and release locks.
Okay,
Commit
Harsha. Thank you.
successful, it will automatically released. You got it?
Yes, Harsha. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.